Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you here today. With an article from the Daily Signal dated February 5th, and with all the U.S. aid stuff coming to light, you may have seen this, or maybe you didn't. It says, Biden admin filled terrorist coffers with over $1.3 billion before Trump took wrecking ball to foreign aid, and thank God he did. So this is actually a story from the Daily Caller that is been published also by the Daily Signal. So it says more than $1.3 billion in taxpayer funds from the Biden administration ended up helping groups that sponsored or committed terrorism. Federal watchdog reports and other documents show former President Joe Biden's aid programs funneled the money toward a network of terrorism in the Muslim world, largely by reversing Trump-era policies. National security experts told the Daily Caller News Foundation the new Trump administration must take the trend more seriously. We should not be putting money into any country or areas where a terrorist group remains in control. Bill Roggio, if that's how you pronounce it, I'm sorry if I got that wrong, the senior fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracy said. Roggio said that aid, like money, is fungible. It winds up propping up these groups, the counterterrorism analyst told the DCNF. That's the Daily Caller News Foundation, if you didn't catch that at the beginning. It says it allows them to use whatever money they have to invest into their terrorist activities. It says the State Department told the DCNF last week that national security is and will remain a top priority after President Donald Trump announced he is reevaluating foreign aid programs. It says the review period is a measure put in place for us to align our ongoing work with the America First agenda, the department said. The results of the in-depth review will be communicated transparently. One can only hope, because we definitely did not get that from the Biden administration. It says Trump has also placed dozens of senior officials on leave from the United States Agency for International Development, or USAID, one of the entities responsible for funding to Afghanistan that the Taliban stole on Biden's watch. The Trump administration closed down USAID's headquarters Monday and may try to dissolve the agency altogether. And from what I know, USAID was created by executive order, so it should be able to be undone by executive order. So hopefully that's the case, and Trump can just, pump out one of those and it's gone. As the largest share of Biden-era dollars linked to terrorism went to Palestinian organizations, Congressional Research Service records show. As the Biden administration gave $1,053,400,000 in taxpayer money to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, which claims to help war-afflicted Palestinian civilians but is tied to terrorists fighting Israel, according to U.S. and Israeli intelligence. Yeah, you can go see that there are actual people convicted of terrorism that do work for UNRWA, and people that participated in the October 7th attack as well were also working for the United Nations Relief and Works Agency. So it says Biden reversed the Trump-era ban on UNRWA funding in 2021, but brought back the ban last year after Israel accused UNRWA workers of participating in Hamas's October 7, 2023 attacks. That's true. We've seen it. So it says intelligence officials later revealed more than 1,000 UNRWA employees, or around 10%, were linked to groups Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, according to documents found on the bodies of dead terrorists and other evidence. A dozen took part in the October 7th massacre, including a Hamas commander who was teaching in elementary school for UNRWA and led a siege against an Israeli kibbutz that killed almost 100 people. So, these are all good people, right? These UNRWA schools have long used curriculum for Palestinian children that glorifies terrorists and martyrdom, March 2023 report from UN Watch found. The curriculum comes from the Palestinian Authority, a governing body in the West Bank that the Biden administration considered more friendly to American interests than Hamas. They're not our friends either at all. As the Palestinian Authority also made a profit from Biden's presidency despite its programs that pays Palestinians and their families as a reward for acts of terror against Jews. Yeah, and if you want to stop that, like the acts of terror a lot, that's one way to stop it, is to stop paying them after their family members kill innocent people. But, what do I know? Says Trump and Congress passed a law in 2018 blocking economic support funds for the Palestinian Authority due to its program. Good idea, and it should come back. Says Trump later paused all remaining funding for the Palestinian Authority before Biden took office and resumed it. The Biden administration in part revived the economic support fund that Trump's law restricts. The State Department claimed in documents from 2021 that most of the money did not directly benefit the PA, or Palestinian Authority, in violation of the law. I'm going to probably call bullshit on that because, it's the Biden administration and they did a lot of illegal things. However, officials sent $265 million straight to the Palestinian Authority for its security forces and justice sector institutions throughout Biden's presidency, according to the Congressional Research Service. Under Biden, the Palestinian Authority agreed to pay more than $97 million to reward the perpetrators of the October 7th attacks, Washington Free Beacon reported. Yeah, that's like, why wouldn't you want one of your family members to do something when you're going to get like flush with cash after that? It says the Palestinian Authority does not honor its commitments to provide security in the West Bank, Rogio told the DCNF. Until it's willing to do that, I wouldn't fund them. I wouldn't fund anything over there anyway. The conservative group sued Biden and former Secretary of State Antony Blinken in 2022 on behalf of terror victims, alleging they broke Trump's 2018 law by funding the Palestinian Authority, and the case is ongoing. Yeah, I think they're going to have a problem with that one. I'm talking about Biden and Blinken. As the rest of the Biden-era funds that boosted terrorism fell into the hands of the Taliban after it reclaimed Afghanistan in August 2021. The U.S. government's Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction exposed mounting security issues as Biden continued funding humanitarian efforts for Afghans under the brutal Islamic regime. The government's programs were designed to help Afghan women's rights, economic conditions, and other causes. It says, it's terrible, we want to help Afghan women, Rogio said. Yeah, they basically are like third-class citizens in their own country. It is really bad. So as well-meaning and well-intentioned as providing aid is, he said, it can end up extending these problems. SIGAR, which is all capitalized here if you're not looking at the screen, SIGAR, and I don't know what that stands for. It says it reported in 2022 and again in 2023 that the Taliban likely gained access to approximately $57.6 million meant for the former Afghan government when it seized the government's financial accounts. Last May, SIGAR, I guess there's some watchdog group I would guess based on this, has found that U.S.-backed humanitarian groups had also paid at least $10.9 million of U.S. taxpayer money in taxes and other fees to the Taliban. SIGAR acknowledged that this was likely only a fraction of the total amount due to a lack of documentation. And of course, there's no documentation about it, or a lack of that. Why would you want it to be traced back to you? So it says, in total, the recorded amount that UNRWA, the Palestinian Authority, and the Taliban raked in under Biden is an estimated $1,386,900,000. There's one legislator on the House Foreign Affairs Committee has tried to stop the U.S. from enriching the Taliban for years. Like, why would we keep giving Afghanistan money? Like, hello? It says they take our money and we give it to them because we're gutless. Republican Representative Tim Burchett, who I like a lot, of Tennessee, told the DCNF. He said the U.S. has effectively been on both sides of wars in Afghanistan and the Middle East due to the vulnerabilities of aid programs. It's like that meme that goes around when it's that meme of the Gazan rockets flying up in the Iron Dome fighting back, and it says like my tax dollars on one side and the other side says somehow also my tax dollars. I mean, that's basically what this is. As for a solution, Burchett pointed to legislation he has repeatedly filed that would require the State Department to form stricter procedures and oversight of its Afghanistan funds. The latest version of the bill now sits in the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Here's my proposal. Make those dispersing U.S. funds liable for their decisions. That would make sense. As American Enterprise Institute senior fellow Michael Rubin told the DCNF, if the money goes to terror proxies, then they should face penalties for negligence or even prosecution for terror finance. I don't have a problem with that. And it seems like that would make these people who give out these funds a lot less likely to do something like this. Because if they are not responsible enough to tell the difference between legitimate recipients and terrorists, then they should pay the price. Said Rubin, a former Pentagon official who has traveled across the Middle East. If they have skin in the game, these sandals might not be so commonplace. Or scandals. I said sandals. Why did I say sandals? Anyway, so I think I saw Middle East, thought sand, and said sandals. But there you go. Anyway, I'm an idiot. It says the DCNF's analysis does not account for reported examples of Hamas fighters stealing humanitarian aid shipments that Americans may have paid for. Republican lawmakers have repeatedly said they got no answers on the issue from Biden's U.S. aid, now under threat of closure. And it seems like that is actually happening as I'm recording this, and that is a good thing. As they secretly poured literally uncountable hundreds of millions of dollars towards Hamas, including tens of millions of cash they could never account for, Republican Senator Ted Cruz of Texas said about U.S. aid officials. The American people deserve to know where their hard-earned tax dollars are going, and spending must be aligned with what is best for our country. That seems like a very common-sense position. So it's clear that certain functions of the agency are important, and those must continue, but with oversight and accountability, Cruz told the DCNF. Burchett and other Republicans sent a letter to USAID in October 2023 asking for documents and warnings of the risks of aiding Hamas. I don't think we really need to know that because it's significant. It says Burchett told DSCNF that the agency has not fulfilled the request. That is not surprising. It says, I never expected to get anything back on it. He said, well, it can't hurt to try. And he tried and, of course, got the answer that he expected, which was nothing. But, yeah, there you go. So, again, this is, just showing that Joe Biden decided to send all our money to terrorists, or a lot of it. So, yeah, don't really have much else to say about that, and putting it out there so you know. So let me know if you have any comments below. Please like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.